In this video, I'm going to highlight some important steps that are required if you want to calculate a mass concentration. When we perform a quantification in terms of atomic concentration, what we need is a set of regions or a set of regions and components, and they all need to be assigned a photoemission peak. So in the case of a survey measurement, we can assign a photoemission peak with the appropriate relative sensitivity factor by using the element library. So if I zoom in to this peak, which is an oxygen 1s, if I click, you can see the oxygen 1s appears here. Now if I indicate that I'm looking at an oxygen 1s when I want to create a region, if I press create having selected the oxygen 1s, then the region is created and we see the appropriate relative sensitivity factor, and that will be good enough if you want to calculate the atomic concentration. However, there's another element to the mass concentration, and that is we must know the mass of oxygen. And because we have created, using the element library, this region, the mass of oxygen has been brought in and is within the region. Now, the fact that there is an update from the element library can be seen if we look at the tag field. This tag field says O1s, as well as the name field O1s. These were both brought in by the element library. So unless you see an oxygen 1s and an oxygen 1s for the tag field, then there's a possibility that you did not create this from the element library. For example, I could say copy and then paste, and now I've got two regions. They both happen to be the same region here, but I could of course zoom out and then decide I'd like to move one of these regions. It says there are two, so we can't, so we hold the shift key down so that we can then move one, and I'll place this over the carbon 1s. So I now see that this one is oxygen 1s, and then I say, well, I know the RSF for oxygen 1s, it's 1, and if I was to calculate the atomic concentration, that would be good enough. But if I want to do a mass concentration, the problem is that it says O1s in the tag field, and it certainly doesn't say C1s. So this has not been updated from the element library. I can force an update by entering hash into the RSF field and press return. And now you see that not only is the RSF and the name field brought in from the element library, it has updated the tag field. So now I have two regions and there's a mass, the correct mass, associated with both of these two regions. How can I see this? Well, let me see. If I select the wide scan, because that's the one I'm working on, and I go to the report spec page, what I can do is in fact look at the regions in the standard report, and when I tick this button that says review report, it shows me the keywords that I used to define what I would like in the report, and I don't see mass in the report, so I need to look through here and add in the mass. So let's put, after the variable, I'm putting the mass, and I'll put the mass concentration. So this is only temporary. This will revert back to the configured file when I finish this calculation, but it tells me the different keywords that would be necessary if I wanted to work with mass. That means to work with mass, I need to create a new configuration file. But for the moment, I just want to verify that what I've created in my regions does indeed have the correct mass for oxygen and for carbon. So when I press OK, the report comes up, and I can see I've got oxygen and the mass is 16, and carbon and the mass is 12. So everything is working as it should be. So these two fields within the configuration file help you verify that you've got the right information to calculate a mass concentration.